All right, so the next album I got for us is one of my personal favorites to come
Oh
out of
yeah,
the
we did
grunge
a couple
scene.
of big favorites.
Yeah.
All right.
Stone Temple Pilots. I know you could argue that Core is the album that we should be discussing, but personally, I chose Purple
Hmm.
because I feel like this is the album where they separated themselves from their contemporaries and formed their own identity, not so much on Core.
No, this is the
So,
one. This is the one.
Purple was released in June of 1994. Here we go again with the 94.
94?
It is 11
What a great
songs,
year.
47 minutes, and it opens up with the song Meat Plow. An aptly named track as it's chock full of big, meaty riffing. Can already tell from the first song, though, that this is going to be a more mature version of the band than the one that brought us Core. A lot more flair on display, too, in every sense of the word. What do you guys think of the opener?
Well, let me preface with, I've never been a fan of Stone Temple Pilots. This is the first full album I've ever listened to of theirs
Oh, wow.
Holy shit.
in
Wow.
my life.
I did not know that about you. That's
This is a good one then. You picked a good one.
I hope. We'll see.
It's open like a wet fart.
Oh,
If I
man.
would have bought this album back in 94, I probably would have took this CD out and threw it in the trash and put something else on.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry, I was unimpressed.
Wow.
That's really interesting.
I guess I got a little preface now for it
Maybe
too.
it's hard to go back and listen to.
I
it after
just-
that.
I-
So it was what, June '94?
Yeah.
So of July '94, actually, I got a chance to go to summer camp, and I had just bought. This was one of the fucking albums I bought to go to summer camp, and there's like no fucking music and shit. There was like nothing there, and it was still brand new, so there wasn't a lot of exposure for it. So I was just like isolated out in the fucking woods with this album. And I am also not a big STP fan, but this is the fucking one, and it kind of took me back on the fucking re-listen. Meat
enough.
Plow. I fucking forgot how much I like this song, man. It's a cool opener. Chill groove, nice little bass during the fucking solo. Meat Plow's a cool one, man.
So Vaseline is next. This was the second single for the album, but it's definitely the one that I think it's one of the best known songs of the band. Very refreshingly different from what the other grunge bands were doing at the time. Really weird guitar riffing. It's almost like hypnotic. It feels like it's a little bit off, but it's really not. And there's all these cool percussive elements in the background. And Scott Weiland is just bringing all the swagger, all of it. He didn't leave any for anybody else.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. While I'm not a fan of the band, this has always been a standout. It's got a very cool riff, catchy chorus, good vibes. This should have been the opener on the album.
Nah.
Meat Plow. But no, Vaseline, man. It's got the cool fade-in, drummy intro. It's got the coolest song they have, I think. It's a super simple riff, jingly-jangly gypsy type shit. Badass drum groove, cool vocals. It creates this unique sound that really wasn't going on anywhere, and nobody really fucking touched on it since. Really good songwriting. They nailed it with that one. That's a legit classic. Like, still to this day, it holds up as a fucking pretty good goddamn song.
Definitely.
And has its own unique sound. Like nothing like that. I mean, it stands out in their career, but also just on the fucking radio.
It's interesting too because it's, we talked about Pantera recently. This is another one of those super simple kind of songs that really just made a big impact, and it's a fucking earworm. Loungefly is the next song. Super smooth, jazzy type of flow to this one. Sounds like Scott Weiland is almost like doing slam poetry on the verses, and then it gets into like that nice big hook.
Yeah.
Yeah, this spacey bit leading into the guitar solo was nice. I did enjoy that.
Yeah, man. Nice trebly drums, and then you got that bass line's really fucking cool. Vocally, he's done similar things, but it's got a little bit of the flings in there. Cool solo. It's kind of like the Beatles song with like some Queen and Genesis style arrangements and progressions. A very British sound.
Definitely on this.
You know what I mean? Sort of that late '60s, but also that new wave '80s. I don't know. It's a serious British sound on Loungefly. It's pretty cool though.
Interstate Love Song is next.
That was the one.
Yeah.
The first.
This
hit,
is
right?
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was this is probably the most popular song I would say from this album.
It is.
Nowadays, you can probably hear it in the produce section at your local grocery store.
Isn't that sad, by the way? Not to sidetrack, but you go to the fucking
weird.
grocery store and hear music that you grew up with. Oh my god,
It's fucking weird,
It's
man.
awesome. You want to shop the fucking
it
Rockin'
is.
Tunes?
But man, and it just means, oh my god.
It is a good example of a band though that they went in a little bit of a less heavy direction, and it actually really paid
Yeah.
off for them because this was more in their lane, I think. That main riff is just one of the most recognizable
Yeah.
riffs of all time, man. When you hear it, you know exactly what it is.
This is not only the most popular song on the album, it's the most popular song they ever did by quite a big margin, especially if you look at streaming numbers now.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised because for me personally, it's not one of my favorites.
Yeah. I mean,
I
it
think it's
played a
great
lot.
song,
So,
but they
yeah.
have so many songs that I like more than this one, so that's
Yeah,
interesting.
That's a super cool riff. Very catchy. Classic Scott Weiland vocals here.
Yeah,
Good song.
man. Kind of got like a happy hour on a Wednesday, 70s hippie Black Crowes kind of free falling good times vibe to it.
Free Falling. What a good song.
I
Next
know.
track is Still Remains.
Still Remains that we're talking about.
So Still Remains is next. We talked about this one on the Love Hate Songs episode, so I'm not going to get too in depth with it. But it's a beautiful song. One of my favorite from the band, I think, ever. So
It's a real mellow track. Pretty good background music for me. I did not dislike it.
If you add a slide guitar and put a slight twang on Scott's voice, is the fucking country song.
totally.
It's terrible.
Okay. Oh,
Still, it's a country song.
I didn't take it as a bad thing, but yeah, I get what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
But yeah. Some
So,
slides, some fucking twangy. Yeah.
No, Scott could have totally sang
Yeah.
some country shit for sure.
he could have made some pretty pennies if he was playing country.
Mm.
Yeah, so Pretty Penny, super cool, artsy little acoustic ditty. Nothing special, just like a cool little song in the middle of the album.
It reminds me of just like sitting around the campfire, just vibing out. That's what this track did.
Yeah, it's the obligatory flinger trying to get on MTV Unplugged. Skip that shit.
Flingity fling
It
fling.
worked.
Skip that one.
Silver Gun Superman is next. This one definitely seems like it could have been left over from the core recording sessions. Super cool, heavy riffing on this one. Great bass playing on this one too from Rob DeLeo. Awesome song.
The verses have a really heavy feel to them, though the choruses fall completely flat, in my opinion. I enjoyed
Mom
this.
falls completely flat.
I enjoyed the solo through the end of the track, though. Fuck that solo now.
Oh man, dude, this is my favorite STP song ever. Heavy, sleazy rock swagger, great guitar tune. I like how the bass and the vocals complement each other while the drums keep it simple and the guitars go light and subtle and stuff. Sweet ass solo, really cool fucking song. Always liked
Yeah.
that one, man.
Yeah, I like that one. Big Empty. So this was the lead single from the album.
There you go.
We all probably knew it best from the Crow soundtrack.
Mm.
Super cool bluesy riffing on this one during the verse before getting into that signature 90s alternative style hook for the chorus. Good stuff.
Yeah, the very melodic verses, memorable chorus. It's one of the few tracks on the album I do like, probably because I played the shit out of the Crow soundtrack. Greatest soundtrack ever.
It's got a cool bass, but I'm not a fan of this song. Which was
It was too popular for you.
on this probably. Like on the Crow soundtrack, I would skip that one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that was really good.
Not
song.
an
Cool
STP
bass, though.
fan,
I'm
and
not a
I
big-
would not
Not a
skip
big
this one on
STP fan in general. you
Huh.
know.
that. Okay.
So Unglued is next.
Mm.
Nice stumpy headbanger. Really cool song to follow up the mellow song that just preceded it.
Mm.
The DeLeo brothers know how to write a just good, straightforward rock and roll song. And Scott always comes through with that rock star swagger and puts it all over it, man.
Yeah, they really woke up here. This one actually, to me, had a little bit of Velvet Revolver vibes, which,
I wonder why.
if I'm going to listen to Scott Weiland, I prefer Velvet Revolver.
That's fucking
That's
blasphemy.
dumb as fuck.
I just said
I
it.
liked Velvet Revolver, but that's
I just
fucking
said it.
blasphemy.
I
Yeah.
just said it.
Unglued, man. This is a cool one. It's totally a Nirvana ripoff, like the Breed and Bleach vibes when I get that. Like if Nirvana actually had good musicians.
Breed and Bleach.
Yeah.
So Army Ants is next. Super cool, spacey sounding intro on this one before it gets unexpectedly poppy for the verse.
Weiland.
Scum.
And as usual, Scott has a very unconventional delivery to his vocals here, and it really makes the song stand out.
Yeah, when I think of Army Ants, I think of shit like immolation or decapitation, like really fast, intricate tech deaths or something, not swinging drug rock. That's just fucking partying, though, man. Like, goddamn.
You think of Army Ants?
Yeah, man, you like fucking intense, fucking intricate shit. Not that shit was partying. I like that. I like that.
And then we close it out with kitchenware and candy bars.
All right.
absolutely haunting and beautiful closer to this album. It almost has a bit of a like a silent lucidity vibe during the verses.
You nailed it.
This is one of those songs that showcases like the range that Scott Weiland had, though. He's doing some stuff here that you just weren't hearing in this type of music at the time. His voice was just incredible. Dean DeLeo also treats us to a beautiful guitar solo on this one. If you keep listening, there's a little silly outro hidden at the end of the album, but this is the closing track for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, Kitchenware and Candy Bars is an interesting title. Another dive bar rocker on the way out. Not a fan, but I do like the lounge jazz secret song. That shit's super fucking partying, man.
That's pretty funny.
There's like a hint of orchestral elements here. Gives it a little bit bigger feel to close out the album. It's all right. As I said at the start, I've never been a fan of STP, and this really didn't change that for me. The songs that I already liked still stood out, and everything else was just kind of there. 2.5 out of 6 for Purple.
Damn, really? I always thought this was a good mix of Nirvana if they could play and Pearl Jam if they weren't so artsy and pretentious. They also had a good dose of that Sunset Strip sleaze, and the DeLeo brothers are fucking cool. They come up with some interesting shit. Scott, as an enigmatic singer, slithers around each song in a strange way. Like, I never know where he's going to land on it. He's fucking pretty cool. This album was super huge. Bunch of singles, couple of videos. Definitely a major impact in the scene and music in general. Never been a fan of these guys, really. They don't suck. They're just not awesome. This album is a good example. I like about half the record, but the songs I do like are some of their best. So normally STP is the alternative prong, but Stone Temple Pilots' sophomore record, Purple, is a 4 upside down pentagrams.
Okay.
All right. Overall, I think this album's a masterpiece.
Oh, boy.
And it's not the only perfect album in STP's catalog. The combination of these 4 dudes was just incredible to me. They never gave you the same album twice, but somehow you always knew it was Stone Temple Pilots. It still sounded like them. But we're talking about Purple here. We're not talking about the whole catalog. You already know. Stone Temple Pilots, Purple is a 6 out of 6 upside down pentagrams for me. Fuck you, Justin.